So you're thinking about using Airtable, and I don't blame you. It's a very powerful tool. So it's a combination of spreadsheets and databases and a very user-friendly, platform. But it can be intimidating, right? So if you're new to Airtable, well, keep on watching. In this video, I am going to cover a very quick basic tutorial to get you going and understand how Airtable works. So if you're new to this channel, thank you for dropping by. Hopefully you'll get some value out of it. If you do throughout the video, please consider giving me a thumbs up. Otherwise, I will go ahead and jump right into the Airtable tutorial. So here we are in my Airtable account. And what you'll notice here is that you have what they call Workspace. So when you log into your Airtable account for the first time, you'll only have one workspace. And it's going to come with some default templates that Airtable was kind enough to give you. There are a lot of templates that they provide. You can definitely check them out. But today we're going to go and learn how to create a brand new base from scratch. And the term base is really just short for database. So what's nice about Airtable is that they make it very user friendly. You can move your bases around. You can reorganize your bases into a different workspace. So I created one that's not used, and you can always drag a base down and move it. And also have an opportunity to organize your workspaces really simply by clicking this handle on the left side of the navigation and move it up or down. So it makes it very, very nice to organize a lot of different bases, because again, what's so powerful about Airtable is that you can build all these different solutions and organizational or productivity tools all in one place and simply just see it in a nice bird's eye view. So let's go ahead and talk through a little bit about how Airtable charges its users. So it's a subscription-based product. And what they do here is that every workspace is subjected to a subscription. So right now I'm running a free account, and both workspaces are both free. Now, if you were to upgrade one workspace, then all your bases underneath that workspace is subjected to that subscription. So definitely keep that in mind if you do consider upgrading to one of their premium accounts that have a lot of different features and a lot of different useful premium features. But for the most part, you can get away with the free account. The free account comes with a lot. It comes with full features, and each base, each one of these squares can hold up to 1,200 records at the date of this recording. So that's a lot of records. You could do a lot of damage with that, and it's per base. So that's really, really nice. So let's go ahead and hop into making our own database. So let's go ahead and create a base. I'm going to go ahead and create one. And you can definitely start with a template, but we're going to do one from scratch. And in today's tutorial, I'm going to do something very, very basic. We're going to talk about projects and tasks. How to tie a task to a project if you were to work on multiple projects. Now, you have the ability to share this base to other people. Or if you want to share an entire workspace, like say you're working on a massive project, you can share it up here too. It's at the workspace level. Or you can do it at the base level. So I just want you to be aware that there is a permission feature here, which is really nice. So let's go ahead and jump into projects. All right, so we're in our projects database, and each project database comes with the ability to create multiple tables of data. And so let's go ahead and create our first table. It's going to be called projects. And then right now it's default to a grid view, but I'm going to call this all projects. So that's going to be my all projects view. Just so it's very, very clear what I'm displaying here. Now, we also need to create tasks, a set of tasks tied to projects. So let's go ahead and create a task table. We'll create an empty table, hit tasks, make it the view as all tasks. So what we're going to do here is work between these two tables. By default, Airtable gives you these fields with name, notes, and attachments, which is nice, but I like to start clean. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete them. I'll right click on the field name, go down to delete, right click, go to delete. And then when you notice, when I right click on name, the very first field, I can't delete it. Why? Well, this is Airtable's way of telling you that that's a primary field is required. Every database or anyone that knows and work with databases, you have to have a unique identifier, a unique field. So Airtable pretty much mandates that the first field is a primary field. So you have to work with it. You can't delete it. It's what's unique. So they enforce it. So we're going to leave it as name. So this could be our list of project names. So let's go ahead and populate this field with data. So let's call this project 1 and project 2 and project 3. So we're going to work with 3 different projects. And then we're going to see how we can tie a set of tasks to a project. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go to the task table and create our tasks. So similarly, I'm going to go ahead and delete these fields and start from scratch. And then start putting in my task. So let's say project 1, we have 1 task for project 1. And then the question is, how do we tie this task to a project? Well, this is where the power of Airtable comes in, when you start to build relational databases. So we're going to tie these 2 tables together. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Let's click on a new field and call it projects. And then when you select the field type, you notice that the very first option is linked to another record. That's what we're going to do. And then we have a choice. Either we're going to link it to a project or link it to a task, in case you want to do dependencies, but really want to link it to a project. So let's go ahead and do that. And most importantly, we have to understand what this means. So by default, Airtable thinks that this particular relationship is a one-to-many relationship, meaning you can have 1 task tied to multiple projects, which could be very true. However, for my intent, I want to tie a specific task to a specific project. So I'm going to turn this off. I want to create a one-to-one relationship with my task. So I'll go ahead and hit save, and then go ahead and select project 1. Project 1 is now tied to task 1. Let's say there's 2 more tasks. And then what I want to do is tie it to project 2. So we're going to go ahead and select project 2 for both of them. And then I'm going to keep adding another task. Let's say task 4. And I want to tie it to project 3. And let's say I want to add more tasks really quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and hit this plus sign 3 more times. And I'm just going to go ahead and drag project 3 down to that data. And then I'm going to do task 5, task 6, and task 7. So the last few tasks will be tied to project 3. So I essentially made a relationship. I've now associated the task with a project. Let's go back to the projects table and see what happened. So Airtable automatically created a new field type called task. It's basically saying that it's tied to this table, to these records. So we'll use this in a moment, but I want you to be aware that it was auto-populated by Airtable. So we're going to go back to task because we're going to finish up this table. And let's think about what else makes up a task. What else do you need? Well, you might want to know who owns that task. So let's go ahead and put an owner. And we want to do a drop down. So one of the popular field types is a single select, where you can do options. So we're going to do a team member. Let's do team member 1. Enter team member 2. And let's say you have a third team member 3. Hit save. And then next thing you know, we have a drop down. So let's go ahead and populate this field as we go. So team member 1, project 1, task 1, and then I'm going to team member 2, team member 3, and let's go ahead and have team member 3 do a few more tasks here. Make this one team member 2, and the last one team member 1. Just kind of give some variety of assignments. So now we know the owner. Well, for every task, it might be a good idea to know what the status of that task is. So let's go ahead and create a status field and do the exact same thing. Let's do a single select, and let's think about our statuses. It either could be not started, in progress, and completed. And let's go ahead and highlight this a little bit. Like, we have the option to customize the colors. Let's make completed green, because we're green is good, green to go. In progress is yellow, kind of like, yellow, kind of like getting ready to be completed. And so let's go ahead and hit save. And then let's go ahead and look at our dropdown. And there we have it. So let's go say the first task is in progress. And the next one is not started. Not started. Let's go ahead and pick completed for this one. So we're going to go ahead and populate some of these fields randomly like so. All right. So we got our statuses populated. Now, it'd be a really good idea to have a due date for a task. Wouldn't you agree? So let's go ahead and add a due date for each of these tasks. And there is a date field. So if I type in date, there you go. It filters it out. There's my selection. Hit save, leave it at default settings. And I'm just going to pick a random date. And I'm just going to copy and paste it down just for representation purposes. So now you have a due date for each of your tasks. So once you have your due date, you're like, maybe there's a good way to visually see what has been completed. Though it's nice to see the color green, but perhaps we want to do like a really quick check mark. So Airtable has that feature. Let's say it's called completed. That's a question. And then they have a checkbox that you can select. Checkbox right there. And we could choose different ways of showing it, but we're going to go stick with the green check mark. Hit save. Now we have this little visual. So now I'm going to go ahead and mark this one complete and this one complete. Again, this is redundant. It's more of a visual thing, but I want to kind of show you this feature and some of the popular field types that you'll use when you're playing around with Airtable. So now we have this nice little checkbox feature to kind of visually show us how many tasks have been marked complete. Now the next thing that is very powerful is creating custom views. So I think we got our task for the most part, all the details we need for this particular task. Let's go ahead and create a custom view. So we're going to create another grid view. It's going to start from scratch. And let's say we want to group it by projects. Grouped by projects. Because it's nice to see it all in one place like this, but it's really hard to visually see what task, especially if you go out of order, right? Like it's all over the place. It won't be as organized. So this group by projects will be a much easier way to see that. So by doing so, we'll use this group feature, hit group, pick a field to group by. We're going to pick projects, and it's going to be alphabetical order, and there you go. Project 1 is all grouped with 1 task. Project 2 has 2, and Project 3 has 4 tasks. And this is really, really nice and useful because now you can visually see all your tasks, no matter how you kind of like organize it from to begin with, and it does it nicely here. So let's say, for example, I go back to the original view and I decide to add another task. Let's say task 8. And I want to assign, because again, go out of order, I'm going to go ahead and assign it to project 2. So I'm going to go pick project 2. And then I'm pretty much going to pick a random team member. Say it's not started, it's brand new. And I'm going to pick another date. There you go. Now, you see how it's out of order? Well, if you go back to the project view, group by projects, project 2 has that task nicely organized the way you want it to. And you can make the updates here. If I make that update to project 2, make this as not, make it as completed and flag it as completed and go back to the other view. There you go. You see that last record has been updated. So it's really nice to do that. And you can also have the ability to add it in the group view itself. So you go back to group by projects. And let's say I want to add another task to project 1. So I add another task here, task 9. And it's already defaulted to project 1, which is really nice because it knows you're in that grouping. Pick a different team member, not started, and then pick another date. Okay, there you have it. And when you go back to the original view, task 9 has already been populated. So this is really nice to organize it all in one place without having separate worksheets or have to create custom views here. It's all in one place. Very easy. Doesn't mess with the data. So this is great when visualizing your task with a project. But what about your projects? How do you sum up all the information here? Well, that's why you create this relationship. So under the projects table, this is where we can go ahead and take the information from this relationship and start to sum it up. So let's say you want to know the total number of tasks for every project. So let's go ahead and create a field called total number of tasks, okay? And then we're going to create a formula. But the way Airtable works is called a rollup, because what it does is going to roll up the data from that table. So we're gonna go ahead and select Rollup. It's gonna look at the task field, and then you have all these options that you want to, I guess, roll up or summarize. But let's go ahead and pick name. Let's count the number of tasks. So I'm gonna use the count field, and then I'm gonna go down to what they call count A, which is basically for text. So I'm gonna go ahead and select count A and hit save. So now you got the total number of tasks, 2, 3, and 4. Let's go ahead and see if it's accurate, because this is why this field was automatically created. It tells you the associations. It matches the results. And so you can see how project 1 has these 2 tasks, task 1 and task 9. If you go back to task, you can see task 1, task 9 right there. So this is great as a way to audit your results. Now let's go ahead and create completed tasks. So now you got your total task. Let's go count the number of completed tasks. So we're gonna do the same thing here, is total tasks completed. And then we do a roll up. And then we're gonna select completed field under the task table. And we're gonna actually do a sum, because the task is gonna count the number of checks. So let's go ahead and hit sum and hit save. And there you have it. So we have 0 tasks completed for project 1, 1 for project 2, and 2 for project 3. So let's go ahead and verify that. So there's only 1 completed for project 2. So look at project 2, there we have 1 check. Project 3, we have 2 checks. So it matches the results. Now, what can we do with this data is create a formula. We want to know a percent complete. Maybe we want to know of all the tasks, how many do we complete in a percentage way. So I'm just really doing this to demonstrate the power of having formulas here. Very similar to Excel or any other spreadsheet that you have used before in the past. But let's go ahead and create a formula called percent completed. And then we're going to make a formula. Type in formula. And what's nice about it is very straightforward. You just type in the field name. Let's say it's total number of total tasks completed. So I put total. There's total tasks completed. Divided by the /, and I type in total number of tasks by typing total and that total number of tasks because it's pre-filtered. And then hit save. But what's interesting enough is that it shows it as an integer. I have to change the format. So let's go ahead and double click on that and go to formatting and change the format to be a percentage and hit save. There we have it. Now we got an accurate percentage based on the total tasks completed over the total number of tasks. So this is where it's really powerful. Hopefully you got a lot of value out of it and learned the power of how to build relational databases using tables and how they're linked and tied together. And for this purpose here for a dashboard, we don't really need this auto-populated field because visually it's not appealing. If you want to make this into a very simple dashboard, you can simply right-click or hide it, or simply hit the hidden field and toggle and check which fields you want to hide. So it makes a very clean view. You can get a quick update of where your projects are. This is a very simplified view, but also get a good idea where you can look at your total task and monitor it on an individual basis. So that pretty much does it for this tutorial. Hopefully it really gives you a good idea how to build relationships, how to use some of the more popular fields, and really see the power of organizing the data and then using formulas to summarize that data as well too. So again, if you found this video helpful, please give me a thumbs up. And if you have any questions at all, please comment below. I try to answer all the comments the best I can. And hopefully I catch you guys in the next one. All right, take care. I'll talk to you soon.